You may not know it, but you go into hypnosis quite frequently, pretty much every day, when you're watching a film and you're really engrossed, when you're driving your car on a journey you know and you're kind of driving on autopilot, you are in a state of hypnosis. You see, hypnosis is actually a sleep of the nervous system, and I love hypnosis. It doesn't send you to sleep, but it wakes you up to your power, your potential, and even your greatness. So you have different brainwaves. You have alpha, beta, delta, and theta. Now, alpha brainwave is the most relaxed, conscious brainwave, but delta is the brainwave you go into when you're deeply asleep, when you're dreaming, when you're meditating, and indeed, when you're in deep hypnosis. You're using a delta brainwave. It's so natural. It's really safe, and you're using that brainwave to accept suggestion. So the most important thing to understand about hypnosis is that you have a critical factor in your mind. And let's imagine you said, hey, tomorrow I'm going to go and give a talk. I'm going to give a talk in my local community about something I'm passionate about. And the critical factor goes, no, you're not. You can't speak in public. You're going to go bright red. You'll forget what to say. Hey, I'm going to go riding a horse. But the critical factor says, oh, you might fall, might not work. And you see, we all have our conscious mind. We think, I want to do this. I'd love to do that. I'm going to go on a diet today and just live on salad. And I goes, who are you trying to kid? You've been on a diet for 20 years. You know you can't resist cake. So that's the critical factor. And the brilliant thing about hypnosis, it shuts down. It shuts down. So I can tell someone in hypnosis, you are an amazing speaker. You remember everything. You're word perfect. You're so good. I can say, hey, you've totally forgotten about smoking. You're indifferent to cakes. Instead of the little voice going, yeah, who are you trying to kid? It goes, wow, yes, I can do this. So your own critical voice shuts down. And what was your internal critic becomes your cheerleader. Hey, of course you can do it. Of course you can give a speech. Of course you can live without donuts. Of course you can find the love of your life because you're deeply lovable. And when you can learn to shut down the inner critic and to turn on the inner cheerleader, wow, it's a game changer. Hypnosis is first of all a state of brainwaves. There are 4, alpha, beta, delta, theta, and hypnosis just means you go into the deepest one where you are receptive to hearing good suggestions. It's not a sleep, it's a sleep of the nervous system. And the best thing of all is that critical voice that says, you'll never do that. That will never work out. That's too scary. That's too risky. Just goes away. Now, there are some people who are more hypnotizable than other people. 1 in 10 people, 10% of people are deeply hypnotizable. They're the people you see at a stage show, put up their hand, run on the stage, volunteer, and lo and behold, suddenly they're falling madly in love with a fire hydrant. They're falling madly in love with a broom, and we're all in the audience laughing, going, oh, I would never go there. You see, that 10% of the population, they tend to be actors. They tend to be in the creative field. If you are creative, you are highly suggestible. If you're creative, you are highly receptive to suggestions. Imagine saying to someone like Anthony Hopkins, hey, Tony, can you play a psychopath? Oh, yes, I can even play that when I put my makeup on, and I can really do it so well. Because someone who is suggestible takes in suggestions. This will work, this won't work. Ask someone like Amy Winehouse to write a song about pain. She could knock out Back to Black in 10 minutes because she had that great ability to feel it and to put it on the page. Decorators, designers, artists, singers, performers, painters, anyone creative is suggestible. Some people hate that word, but it just means that you are very good at picking up suggestions. It means you're receptive. If you say to an artist, an actor, a singer, show me pain. They can do that. If you go, it wasn't really very good, they go, no, I know. But they might go, oh, it was amazing. So it can be a two-edged sword being highly suggestible, because what that means is you can be receptive to all kinds of suggestions. And the beauty about hypnosis, it teaches you to let in great suggestions, to give yourself amazing suggestions, and to block out, to remove negative ones. And that's one of the things I love about hypnosis the most. It changes I can't to I can. That will never work to I'll make it work. I could do that, but I'm doing it right now. Before I continue, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to get notifications about my latest videos. On your phone, make sure to go into settings and switch on notifications. So when I work with actors, I always say, look, you're a very suggestible, creative person. And that's a good thing. The issue is not your mind, it's what you tell it. That will never work out. I'm really nervous about that. I'm terrified about this new part. I worked with an actress once who said, hey, I've just got the leading role in a movie and I'm terrified. I'm like, no, that's not terrifying. It's exciting. When you change the word terror, fear, scared to exciting, ready, on fire, then the mind accepts that. And you may not be one of the 10% of people that are really suggestible, really receptive to suggestions. It doesn't matter. You can still give yourself powerful, amazing suggestions. Personally, I would never put my hand up and go on stage at a hypnotic show, and I've been to many. I'm not sure it would even work for me on that stage. But even if I'm not that 10%, my life is giving myself amazing suggestions, great suggestions, powerful suggestions. I gave birth to my baby using hypnosis, and it was an amazing experience. I've had dental work and surgery using hypnosis. And even if you don't want to do that, you can use hypnosis to recover. You can use it for anything. You can use it to turn fear into excitement or passion. You can use it to always sleep. I was taking a flight to Oman, and the woman, when we landed opposite me, said, I noticed that you went to sleep the minute that plane took off and you woke up when it landed. That's amazing. I said, it's not amazing. It's hypnosis. I hypnotize myself to sleep. Wherever I am, I never get jet lag. I get an odd cold, but I hypnotize myself out of that too. And in fact, everything I have in my life, and I have a lot, is down to hypnosis. I was told I would never get pregnant or carry a baby to full term. I used hypnosis to reverse that. I've had some encounters with illnesses, and I've used hypnosis to reverse that too. When I speak on stage, when I sit and write books, knowing that somebody might hate them, I use hypnosis to deal with that too. Anyone can be hypnotized, anyone at all. And being hypnotized just means going into an alpha or a delta brainwave. And the best way to get hypnotized is to look up, keep your eyeballs up, and keeping your eyeballs up, close the lids down. When we have children, we know they're going to sleep when they start to roll up their eyes. I've hypnotized my cats because I stroke them like that till they roll up their eyes. I speak to them in a hypnotic voice, and they go into a trance. But in that trance, people say, well, you can make me do anything. So going into hypnosis is easy. You do that every day. People aren't worried about going into hypnosis. They're worried about what will happen. What if I never come out? I heard about people never coming out. Where are these people who've never come out of hypnosis? They're not downtown in a warehouse somewhere. And by the way, if you could be made to do what you don't want to do, every hypnotist in the world would be a multi-millionaire, because we could say, hey, just stick 2 zeros on the check. Just put me in your will. Clients send me flowers and candles and hampers. No one has ever sent me a Porsche. No one has ever sent me a Mercedes. Do you think I could say to my really rich clients when I'm hypnotizing, hey, you're so impressed with me, I would love a Porsche Carrera? I couldn't say that. And if I did, the client would not pick it up. I love the flowers. I love the baskets they send me, the cards, but no one has ever sent me a Ferrari, and they never will, because I couldn't possibly suggest that. So remember, you may know a local hypnotist doing quite well, but if we were all that suggestible, they'd be multimillionaires by now. So I want you to understand that a hypnotist will give you amazing suggestions, but you hear what they say. I was working with a client one day who wanted to drop 80 pounds. And for some reason I said 80 kilos. They went, no, not 80 kilos, 80 pounds. They corrected me even though they were in hypnosis because they weren't asleep. They could take everything in. When I'm working with clients, they answer my questions because you're not asleep. So if you want to really be more hypnotizable, here's what you do. First of all, make sure that you're in the right place. Phone off, a little sticker on the door saying don't ring the bell. Make sure you can be reasonably relaxed, but the hypnosis will relax you more. And then decide, I want this. I've chosen this, and I've chosen to feel great about it. That is my magic expression I use for everything. I've chosen this. I've chosen to feel great about it. I want it. I'm ready. I want it. Bring it on. And remember, you're not going to be unconscious. You're not going to be asleep. You're going to be super relaxed and really chilled. But hypnosis will not send you to sleep. It will wake you up to your excellence.